And it looks like we are now live. Welcome everybody to the second meeting of the San Diego MOBE Event Steering Committee. And we are just moving at an incredible pace because we have a lot to do. Can you guys see my screen with the meeting agenda and minutes from yesterday? Jeff?
The meeting agenda is not there yet.
Maybe I'm showing the wrong screen, so let me show.
There's a collage of pictures and some of your computer screen. I think, there you go. Now you got it.
All right. Excellent. So, radio campaigns. The status is that this morning I've had some dialogue with the people at the radio station, and by the end of the day today, we should have some final decisions, but they're aware. I know the feedback that I got yesterday was the $7,000 budget sounds reasonable, so we're moving ahead with that. But at the same time, we're going to negotiate as much as we can to get the absolute most that we can for that $7,000. And so let me just show you the proposal. The proposal hasn't changed since what I originally showed you. Oh, actually, there may be an update. Let's see. There's probably an update here. So I sent them all of Peter's audio, and I sent them Peter's two things. Okay, so you're seeing this with me for the first time. So let's take a look and see what they wrote. So here's my message. I actually copied Jeff on it and copied Rob Harris. Happy to copy, more people. So they said, hey Rob, thanks for the audio. Listen to a few. I'm going to have our production team re-record them, but I'll create a copy by going through the spots you provided. In order to go forward and get these started, let's go back to that for a second. In order to go forward and get these started as soon as possible, I need the following: signed copy of the agreement, pending this meeting right now, legal business name, payment. Okay, cool. Let's get on this right away. I need all the information. Okay, so as soon as we finish this meeting, I should be able to follow up with her. And let's take a look at the proposal, if there's anything new. I'm happy to post this here, but this is what we're talking about. I believe, let me just glance through it quickly and see if it's changed at all. No. So they keep sending the same proposal. So all we have to do is just sign this page. I'm going to print this page out right now. And, anybody who wants more detail on it, let me know. I'm happy to send you the proposal. But here's what is new when it comes to radio. So I have to give credit where credit is due. So let me do that first. I have to remember this girl's name. What is the woman's name who is 21 years old, and she lives up in Toronto, and she took a year off of college to work on MOBE. She was in Cabo. Hold on one second. Anyway, so I was talking to her, and she was the one who told me that John Chow did this out-of-the-box stuff, and he did some local radio, and he went to local meetups, and that made me realize, oh yeah, well, I'm a member of these meetups, and I kind of stopped going to many of them because I realized about a year ago that if you're not going to follow up after these meetings, then it's a waste of time. I'm great at connecting with people. I can always find a million things that I can offer, matching people up. But I was just trying to figure out my own, value and my own position, and it just got to the point where I've got probably 500, 600 business cards, and I said, I don't need any more meetups. But this time I needed a meetup. So I went to the meetup. I thought it was the local one that was within 5 miles, 3 miles of my house because of the name of the street. But it turns out that it was not that one. It's another one that's about 15 miles away. But it's still a great location, and because I signed up in advance, I went, and I'll probably go to the one tomorrow and a couple others. But it just so happened that one of the guys who was at this meetup is a guy they call Radio Jack. You see, I even took a picture of Radio Jack. I'll show it to you on my camera if I can. So Radio Jack was there, and I had a chance to talk with this guy. I didn't know anything about him, but it turns out that he is an amazing resource for us. Not only does he work with the station that he works with is partner to the San Diego Union Tribune, which is the largest newspaper in San Diego. This was from lunch today. That's Cat Radio Jack. I'm going to meet with him at 4 o'clock this afternoon just because of the urgency of what we're doing. But this guy is just the kind of resource that you would always want to have for something like this. And, you know, he is willing to do all kinds of stuff. He, you know, interviews with us, with the team. But in the time frame that we have, I'll talk to him about it today. That's something that we can talk about a little bit more here. But I did ask him whether he just has advertising space, because he does a lot of bartering for getting the unsold radio space, which is so perfect for us because we're paying premium for Clear Channel. But he has a relationship with Clear Channel. Coincidentally, he has a meeting with them tomorrow morning, and he works with different people than I work with. And so after our meeting today, he's going to be able to go into Clear Channel and say, you know, he's just doing the $7,000 deal. How about if we just throw in all this extra capacity? So that's really exciting. But then I asked him if he does anything that is not just local San Diego. And he said, oh, yeah, we have stuff nationally all over the place. And I said, well, you know, we have a $30,000 a month advertising campaign, so we need to talk. And he said, oh, yeah, you need to have your own radio show. You need to. So speaking of that, you know, it's all about networking. And as you guys who were in Cabo know, there was a guy there named Larry Benet. And Larry Benet and I met because Lisa Fader-Grossman and I were talking, and she invited me to sit at her table at the end of the event, and her table was a very cool table where Larry was sitting. So Larry and I had a chance to talk, and he's just a regular guy like everybody on stage. But I never would have talked to him if he hadn't sat next to me. And because I talked to him, you know, Larry is a guy, oh, I think I blew it. Larry is one of the most connected people in the entire country, in the entire world, I should say. So I hope I didn't miss, because I want to just tell you guys that he has an event tonight, I think. Let's go to his message. And he asked me if I could promote it. So this is what I'm doing. I'm promoting it because he also, let me show you what he sent to me. This is the kind of guy Larry is. The guy I met one time. So this is probably an automated, you know, this is an autoresponder in Facebook that's smart enough to put my name in it. Or maybe he did copy and paste. But what he said is he's doing his first teleseminar, pure content, and he wanted us to like it, but that's right here. I'll go back to that in a minute. I think we missed the call. Oh, well. October 22nd, that's today. 3 o'clock Eastern. Oh, we just missed it. Well, let's see what happens if we claim the spot now. You can still register. So, here, let me put this in the chat box. And I would like you guys all to go and say, sorry we missed the call. We were on another important call, but we love you, Larry, or something like that. You don't have to say that, but just tell him that I said good things about him, because I want to show you the rest of his message. And he taught us at the event. Hold on, I'm having trouble multitasking here. Where's my GoToWebinar window? Not there. Oh, there we go. I'm going to put this in the chat box. So he said something like this at the event. He said, you know, how do you get the attention of somebody who is extremely powerful and important when you have 30 seconds? You know, it's like after you're able to close your mouth from the shock, you know, what could you possibly say that they would even consider you to be more than a flea on their sleeve? And what he said is this. What you say to people is, what is the one thing that you need, the one thing that would help you the most in your business, or depending on the context, or in your personal life, in the next 30 days or in the next 90 days? What is the one connection that would help you the most with your business in the next 90 days? And among other things, you know, that is what Larry teaches people on stage. So here's what he wrote to me. He said, number one, let me know the single most important thing you're working on in the next 90 days in case I or someone in my influential saying network can help you. I really mean that. I want to help you. Okay? We missed this, so if you can tell them we'd like to hear the replay, I guarantee there's replay. I figured out a huge missed opportunity that most people aren't leveraging. I literally found out by accident from spending time in the last 3 months with over 150 of the most influential and successful people in my network. Some of the people I met, for example, include someone who is a billionaire, someone who has run a Fortune 10 company, someone who was making $15 million a year with less than 12 employees, someone who is a 10-time New York Times bestselling author with millions of books sold, and someone who was one of the 5 key people who helped President Obama get elected. These are some of the most successful people around, and if they were making this one huge mistake, I figured others were too, so I wanted to share with as many people as possible. I was even more shocked to learn when I spent time working with a few people who between them had built 6 different billion-dollar companies that they were missing some huge opportunities because they were mismanaging their most valuable asset. Check out my Facebook page or Twitter page for more. So this guy is the real deal, and he's just a nice guy. And he's single. He's actually, the one thing he's looking for is a Brazilian Jewish woman to hang out with, maybe marry. But he kind of said that jokingly, but he lives in Los Angeles, and if you look at this page, you'll see that he's pretty well connected. I mean, just look at the side of the page and all these people that he's just hanging out with. And he hung out with us for the whole weekend in Cabo. This is the kind of stuff that we do, and it's very cool. So I think this is the radio, people, but we'll finish our call first. Okay, so I wanted to share that because the most important thing that I'm working on in the next 90 days is this. Not this event, but this group, this brain trust. It's so powerful. So what's the number one thing that I need in the next 90 days is for this to become successful. So what do we need for this to become successful? That's why I wanted to share that with you, in addition to the fact that it is, you know, the event was today, so I already missed the boat in terms of promoting it. So that little diversion, let's move on. So I've got this 4 o'clock meeting. Does anybody want to talk more about radio, about the $7,000 budget, about any questions or comments or concerns or issues before we move on to billboards? Doesn't look like it. Is anybody there? Somebody say something. I think I put everybody to sleep. See, that's my fear.
Everybody is here, but apparently nobody has a question, Rob.
How do you know everybody's there? How do you know everybody's there?
I can see they're still on the. Because I can see the attendee list, and the attendee list is still here.
Yes, but it's one thing.
And now they're telling you they're.
It's one thing to be here, and it's another thing to be paying attention. And by the way, GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting does measure whether people are paying attention. At the end of the webinar, when I can see the stats that people just sat there and didn't move their mouse at all, then it shows that they weren't paying attention. Because just because you log in, you could walk away, you could take care of things. I don't want these to be that long and boring that people have to walk away and do other things. So let's move on to billboards, since there's no question about radio. Any more information to share, Helena, about the billboards? Let me unmute your mic and you can talk. You are unmuted.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so I do have, I still have my cold, sorry. I do have one update. I've spoken to the company. I'm clicking through my pages here, trying to find one I want to show you as well. The one that we got with the best price from yesterday, it's that, and his cost, or charge, I should say, it would be our cost. Sorry, I'm just reading something here. He brought it down to $2,500, but he can only do 2 dates, and that would be the 30th and the 31st because it's so close to the event date. Does that make any sense to you guys?
Absolutely. And by the way, the first, I believe the event starts at 7 p.m. So since all the work is going to be done on the design side, I don't know that they'll have any extra capacity to do it if we threw in the extra day at the end based on the results we get the first 2 days. But we could definitely do it on Friday also.
Okay, but for 2 dates, for the 30th and the 31st, we're looking at $2,500, and they need the artwork by this Friday.
And what do they need? They just need vector graphic artwork, or do they need final artwork?
They will need final artwork unless we want to pay additional fee.
Okay, no problem. No, so we can do that. We just need to know the parameters if we're going to go with them. So are you recommending that that's the best option on the billboard front?
Price-wise, yes, because everyone else is more. Now,
What's the next closest bid option?
The next closest, we are looking at this guy here. He didn't want to give me 2 days. He was talking about 5 days. He says $3,750. $200
or $2,750 or $3,750?
$3,750.
Okay, so that's significantly different. So for the $2,500, that includes.
Yeah, but again, we're looking at 5 days. And he was saying it's too short of a time. Like we should have called them before, so that they can, I guess, get ready. And they need the artwork as soon as possible as well.
So for the $2,500, that includes the artwork, the printing, and the 2 days. No extra fees, no surprises.
Right.
Right.
That's the way I'm interested. That's the way I understood him today. Yes, because I called him again and I said, "Look, we need a better deal." Blah blah blah. Work my magic around.
Is this the inflatable one where we get four different things that we print?
No. No.
Which one is it? Can you share your screen and show us which one that you're talking about?
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna make you the presenter.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. So, I know I have it here. Okay, there. All right. Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. So basically, the mobile billboard is this one here. I know the pictures are very small, but it's on a truck, and that would be the one that you would basically want on a freeway in a rush hour. That's the one that's $2,500, including the printing and the artwork.
So we can have it driving back and forth during rush hour at one of the crowded intersections on the freeway. I love that. I love that. I know exactly where I would tell them to go if they're open to take to us specifying the route.
Yes, you
That's
can specify
beautiful.
where you want them exactly. They'll go exactly there, and they'll show you the GPS tracking in the spreadsheet. And then there is another option. This is a different company. They're the ones that have the inflatable ones, and that was $1,000 for the printing and $550 to run it only for 1 day. So we're looking at $1,500, or any. If you take it for 5 days, he says it's $425. Not too much of a discount there, but basically, let's look at it this way: it's $550 per day, $1,000 to print the inflatable one, and that one is stationary. So whatever you want in position, they drop it off there. If it's for 1 day, they leave it in the morning. They come back, pick it up in the evening, and that's it. They did their job. Then we have.
And for the mobile billboards, the first one is $2,500. How many hours per day?
Good question. I don't have that, but for the time you're talking about the other stuff on the agenda, I'll find out for you. And then I had another one. I don't know if I don't have a picture of it yet. The guy's supposed to send it to me. It doesn't seem like it came in. It was the bicycles. I don't know what they're called, but they do advertising on these bikes.
Yeah.
They also have them at $150 per week, plus $125 for the printing and setup. So per bike. So we're looking at $275 per week for a bike that's circling around.
That's awesome. The only thing is that those bikes, they ride around the downtown area of San Diego where the convention center is. So people that are here for a convention now are not going to be able to come back. I don't know, but for that kind of price. So how much is it? $250 plus how much printing? For $275?
It's $275 total per bike. So to break it down, $150 for the run and $125 for printing and setup.
Yeah. So what we can do is possibly use that. We had said 500 for the Ninja stuff, so that could definitely be. We could do one bike where we can maybe negotiate to get two for 500. I was also thinking on the Ninja stuff we would do flyers, so maybe we go a little bit over 10,000. I also want to hear what this guy says today, Radio Jack, because he's also going to give us a proposal for Ninja stuff. So at this point, we're talking about everything, including the mobile billboard, to be 3,000. I guess what I'll do tomorrow is give you an update and let you know if I recommend going a little bit higher, but it wouldn't be much higher. It might be another 1,000, but it would just be for more of the Ninja stuff, which is so it gives us such a competitive advantage over any other team in MOBE. And again, if you think about what we're doing, Matt spent all the money to put on an event to be able to reserve this hotel way in advance, to have a committee spending whatever, 50, 80, 100,000 bucks to put on this event out of his pocket to make it happen. And all we have to do is market it. And and he's not competing with us to market it. He's telling us, in fact, you bring people and I'm going to give you a reward. So it couldn't be a better situation. It'll be a high quality event. So I'm personally not opposed to going a little higher, especially since we're going to do this through the co-op, because originally, before I knew if the co-op was going to be ready, I was talking about doing this alone. But then I wouldn't have gone to 7,000. I was trying to figure out, a couple partners and do like a $5,000 budget. But if we can do the whole co-op and maybe go just right around 10,000, maybe go up to 11,000, we will break it down and justify it to the team. But this steering committee needs to basically be in favor of that before we bring it to the rest of the team. So your input now is the time. A lot of decisions need to be made very quickly. Anything else, Alina, before I change back to my screen?
Just for the future, if anybody in the team needs this kind of advertising, as you can see here, this particular company offers gas station pump ads. According to the owner that I spoke to, he says that they're very cost-effective. Like a lot of they work with big huge companies, and sometimes you have to wait in line to basically get it at a particular gas station. But you can pick a gas station, you can pick how long you want to run it and everything. So I thought it would be something to keep in mind for the future, because right now it's too late to get that done. So for now, that option is not available to us. But this.
So I say that, does anybody know the date yet for the next event in Scottsdale?
I don't.
I take that as a no. All right, we will figure it out. But anyway, that would be a great time to start looking at that for Scottsdale if the event is in the next 45 days, which I think it is.
Oh.
Rob.
Okay.
Yes, I see Rob's question. Yes.
Okay.
So, do you want to answer that question?
Me?
Sorry.
No, because Alina's going to answer it?
Anybody who wants?
I don't have an answer as to when the event is. I'm sorry.
No.
So to answer, Rob's question is, how will we be able to measure the results of each component of the campaign? And the answer is that we use what's called an ad channel, a 10-digit code that we tack onto the links. And those 10-digit codes will be associated with everybody in the co-op. and with the advertising medium that the ad appears in. So we will be able to tell based on that how many opt-ins we're getting from each advertising medium. We'll know how much we're spending for each advertising medium. And so we'll know the short-term results right away, and that's something that's it's regularly reported, which is how many clicks per $49 sale, or what is the cost per $49 sale. That's the only thing that we, get on the very front end. But then the next step is how many of those convert to $2,000 sales of the licensed rights, and then how many of those convert to titanium platinum. We have all that data, as you've seen in the financials. But it is clear in my head, and with the team that we have on the tech side, it's going to not be in my head. Not only are we going to document it for the team, but we're going to document this as part of the info product that we're going to create. We're going to document this to we can decide how we want to disseminate it outside of the group, but we will definitely have it for ourselves, and we will definitely have this valuable asset that can be distributed in a strategic way outside of our group. Does that answer that question?
Rob.
Yes?
All right. We're talking about billboard advertising that is going to have, I presume, a phone number on it or a web address.
Yes.
But you're also doing radio advertising with a website, and they're the same websites, are they not?
On the front end, we will send people to the same website. We may or may not be able to differentiate on the front end between radio and billboard, but at the event, we will definitely be able to know who is there, and we will ask them. That's the best way. But we will, within radio, we can track the ad channel. Actually, using a tool that I have, we can track all of that stuff, now that I think about it. We can track.
Okay.
So what we would have to do when people, see, the issue is that when we have people call in on the phone, what we may want to do is send them to a different website than they go to if they're coming from the radio. That's probably the easiest way to differentiate those two. But we'll work on that between today and tomorrow, because that's a very good point, and we do want to get as much detail about that as we can.
Okay, and remember this, that all that talk you gave about tracking clicks and how much it costs for an MTTB sale, what we're doing right now has nothing to do with MTTB. These people are either going to go in, become a licensed rights member or nothing, but they're not going into MTTB from there.
Right, but normally, you're right. So this is a different funnel. This is a funnel that's direct to licensed rights. And in the past, that was the way things were. But MTTB is there to funnel people in. I'll turn my camera back on. MTTB is there to give people a coach and to help them understand why they should upgrade to licensed rights. So at this event, what I'm saying is that the people who come to the event, I'm going to be there the whole time, and we are going to have a way of identifying them when they come in the door. We're going to put a little extra star on their badge. So I'll know everybody who is there from our advertising, and then I will meet with them all to the best of my ability one-on-one to find out where they found out about us. But at the same time, if we can automate it, we'll also know where the clicks came from. The only thing that we'll know at the event is where the people came from, whether they buy license rights or not, to address your issue, Jeff. But if they buy license rights, that's equivalent, in my model, to 8 MTTB sales. So you just bypass 8 MTTB sales, which we're willing to pay $150, even $300 for. So you bypass 8 $300 sales for every one person that gets in. That's one way to look at it. So we do want to track where it's coming from, because we want to be able to ramp it up if it works. We want to be able to change it if it doesn't work so well. But I mean, what is better in terms of products or services to promote than a timely event that so many people need, that's local, that we've already got the resources to do. So anything else? As far as flyers, we can talk more about that later, but I agree that's what I thought about for the $500 Ninja budget. And so what we'll try and do by tomorrow is figure out what the Ninja part of the budget is and finalize these numbers. But if anybody here thinks that the numbers are out of line, this is the place to talk about it. Since yesterday, we've done some good stuff on the T-shirts. Regina and I had some good one-on-one time, and she is just a wealth of knowledge. So there is a site that we can do not just one of these designs. We can do a multitude of them, and we can order them in single quantities shipped to our homes. So what I'm going to work on with somebody over the next few days is a couple different designs, and at least one that I can print out for me to wear, and maybe we'll print out, if we want, we can use part of the Ninja budget to print out T-shirts for the people that are coming, but probably not because they won't ever wear them. But anyway, we can order them later. The cool thing about these online T-shirt companies is that they're designed for doing minimum quantity orders and $9 for one, which is about what you would pay in the store for something off the shelf. And we can get all different qualities. So actually, I'll show you the name of it if anybody wants to play with it in your spare time. When I'm on the phone, when I take notes, I just usually open a document. So Teespring is the site that she told me about, and basically we can upload our logos. I tried to do Peter's yesterday, but it's limited to 10 colors vector file, and Peter's was more than 10 colors, so I couldn't finish it. But it's really simple, just like designing a Microsoft Word document. And this is what the Facebook marketers are using. If you are not aware, Regina now has over 10,000 likes on her Facebook page about Walking Dead. And that's in a period of about 2.5 weeks with, I think she said she spent $30 so far. That is very cool. That is what the big leaders teach people to do. Regina's been listening for a long time, so she's done it. Now she's about to make T-shirts. This is one of the first things that people do. What do you do when you get all the people who love Walking Dead to come to your Facebook page that they might actually do? What about some cool T-shirts? So she's got some T-shirt designs, and there are people that make, hundreds to thousands of dollars a day every time they put a new T-shirt advertisement on the Facebook page that is about that topic. Now, MOBE Brain Trust is not that kind of a design, but Regina has other ideas, and we can take those same, the knowledge, like the stuff that she told me is $9, screen printed, can't be pictures, high quality vector art, 5 megabit, black shirts outsell all others, white don't sell very well at all. That kind of knowledge you pay a consultant for, but she's doing it personally, so she shared that with me. And then the retargeting thing is so cool, and this is something else that we'll leverage here. So what you do with retargeting, this is the cheapest form of advertising at all, because people who come to our sales page, or we can also do it with people that opt in and they never get to the sales page. We insert a pixel, which is a tracking pixel, which is just a little piece of code on the next page. So in other words, when you fill in your email address and you press enter, then we go to a page where we can tell that you've actually pressed enter and that you've entered your email address. So you don't have to go to the autoresponder account, but there's a counter that says, okay, somebody else opted in. It could be a fake email address, but at least you know that they opted in through this. So this tracking pixel goes on the next page after people give their critical information, and then you can follow them around and remind them that they never finished ordering their tickets to the event. You can follow them around literally forever, as long as you're willing to pay. We can follow them around after the event and say, hey, sorry you missed the event, but you should still check out my top tier business. The only business that will give you a coach for $49 and you'll learn everything you missed at the event. We can do radio spots like that. Captain Jack asked me, is there any benefit to doing ads after the event? I said, if we can put them in the same place that we're advertising the event, absolutely. That's huge. And then I asked him if he knew about retargeting, and he said no. I said, okay, so we'll help each other. So that's what networking is all about. It's just so powerful, and it's just so great to have a business model that we can apply it all to. So moving on, anything anybody else wants to contribute about T-shirts or about anything we've talked about so far? Estimated ROI, yeah, Rob, I'll talk to you about that stuff. And Jeff, actually, why don't you talk to Rob Harris one-on-one, because he knows me too well. He doesn't trust me. So if you can talk to him and give him the real scoop, that would be helpful. Anybody else who wants to talk to Rob Harris and give him a testimonial for me, that would be good, because he knows me from another world, and he knows that I've been struggling in this internet marketing thing for a while. So getting back to this, that's T-shirts, reception. We don't need to talk much more about it right now. I'll mention it tonight on tonight's meeting, but again, it requires a budget. That's why I wanted to mention it, and I think it's probably come out of the co-op budget. And in theory, if we get 150 people at the event, and there's 18 people in the co-op, and of those 150, we sell somewhere in that neighborhood of 18 license rights. You know, that's $18,000, and we get 50 people, and we get $14,000 that we can put back into the co-op. The numbers work right on the front end, well enough to be able to afford to do a reception. I guess that's my point. Give me 1 second. All right. And we don't need to talk about number 6. I would like some input on this. I don't even know what we've chosen for the target market. So anybody have questions, or anybody would like to speak? Anybody would like to add anything? Otherwise, we can all just continue. You know, I don't think that there's any action items right now that are not being addressed. If anybody wants to work on the T-shirts, I love the idea of doing a few of them. We can have our own Brain Trust store. Yeah, go ahead, Alina.
Sorry, I guess I muted myself. I was thinking of the radio campaign. Like if we're to do a giveaway to the first 3 people who call in, no one knows who's first, second, or third, but it will just, you know, get people to call in and hurry up and be one of the 3 or 5 or however you like to do that for a free admission to the event.
Yeah. So can you see my screen?
Now, yeah.
So here's what we've talked about so far, and this is where the, you know, outside the box, the creativity, you guys are welcome. But this is what I've talked about to them so far. The first 100 listeners get a free offer, the fine print. Yeah?
Rob, you're on the wrong screen.
I am?
Well, you were on T-shirts a second ago. Now you're on the radio campaign. What is it you want us to see?
I want you to see my response to Alina, which is that we're definitely interested in the on-air promotions, and that's what you were talking about. On-air promotions is where they have a giveaway. Yeah. And yes, absolutely. Any of that kind of stuff. And then I don't know if we're going to do the first 50, the first 100, you know, but basically since Matt's paying us 50%, you know, it's going to cost us $50 out of pocket for each person that we do this for, but again, it's a great investment. So this is something that in a 30-second spot, they probably wouldn't be able to weave this into every spot, and I don't know that we'd want to offer it. So maybe, like you said, maybe it's the first 3 callers to respond to this ad we'll get in, and or to this airing of the ad. So that kind of stuff, we could put some bullet points together and have them help us with. But I agree that anything that will bring us more attention, and they were the ones who offered to do the on-air promotions. She's looking into that now. They're the ones who offered to do the streaming, which means banner ads on their properties that they own that are broadcasting online that we choose. That's very cool. There tends to be a lot of extra availability there for our inventory to be able to get shown a lot of extra times for free, especially if we ask for it and we stay close on top of it. So
I wouldn't advise to do 100 right off the bat. I would say go for 50 and say they can during the airtime they can say, well, we've had such great response. All 50 have been rewarded, but we have asked the people for some extra or something like that. They know how to word it. I used to do this at a radio station here locally.
Well, then I'll patch you in. Let me patch you in for the next call with them, and we'll work with them on it, because that's probably the next step is to refine the wording, because they're working on that right now based on what I've given them so far. So if you want, we can talk to them right after we get off of this call, if you have time. Otherwise, I'll work around your schedule.
Okay, no problem. After the meeting, we'll just chat. We can connect with them.
Okay. Anything else? I like to keep meetings short if possible. This may be a record short meeting, even though it's not that short. But it doesn't look like anybody else has any issues. So going once, I'm willing to hang out with people one-on-one. If everybody else wants to leave, then Alina and I will meet on Skype and follow up with the radio station. And then I have this meeting at 4 o'clock with Radio Jack. Thank you, Raina Lynn. And thank you, everybody. And we will call it a day. Thanks. We'll see you tonight in, 5 hours and 10 minutes. Bye-bye.